Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Well, let's take a look at some stocks on the move today in Europe. I'm Stephen Carroll with Anna Edwards, and we're joined by Bloomberg's breaking news editor, Louise Moon. Louise, good morning. Let's start then with a big fall for the car maker Stellantis. What's happened?
Indeed, yeah. So they've taken charges of about 22 billion euros. Essentially, this is linked to Stellantis' overhaul of its kind of entire operations. They've been trying to overhaul since the CEO joined last June, all in the name of kind of regaining market share. So this is over one, to do with higher costs, but also it's all to do with the shift towards electric vehicles, and essentially more muted sales than they had been expecting have kind of forced them to adjust their strategy, essentially. So the CEO this morning was saying they overestimated the pace of the energy transition, and then these charges also showing the impact of what he's called poor operational execution. So they're taking charges of about 22 billion. A lot of that is payments to compensate suppliers, and then also other costs as well. And as you say, shares reacted pretty badly, down 14% this morning in Milan. And if you look back even further, they're down 40% over the past year. So a lot of work ahead for Stellantis. And this is quite a bump in the road, particularly on the EV journey.
We've had, Louise, we've had a lot of results out from banks this week. We've got results from Societe Generale this morning. How are investors digesting the news from there?
Yeah, we had their fourth quarter results. So one section kind of in particular has really been focused on. So the numbers for trading units missed estimates. So fixed income, securities and currency trading, that fell 13%. Equities trading also fell by over 5%. And analysts had been expecting growth for both of those units. So the reaction has been for shares to fall on the back of that, as obviously this missed estimate. So they dropped around 4% earlier this morning in Paris. The CEO has said, there's a lot of work to do. He's kind of tried to have a bit of positivity, saying they'll do everything they can to ensure that there's more positive momentum ahead. They have seen some positive developments more recently. They've grown their full year revenue and their full year profit. So he's, saying that there are some challenges ahead, but there's still work to do, but that they're going to make sure that positive momentum kind of extends across the bank. But yeah, as I say, shares still down on that news.
Another share on the move this morning, the Spanish bank Sabadell, after their CEO departed.
Yeah, a bit of a slightly surprise exit. So the CEO is leaving. That's likely to happen around May time or at their next AGM. And he's being replaced by a man called Mark Armengol. So he currently runs TSB, which used to be owned by Sabadell and was sold to Santander last year. So he's going to replace the CEO. It comes, the reason it's kind of a bit of a surprise in terms of timing is it's only a few months after the outgoing CEO. He kind of led the bid to fend off BBVA trying to buy Sabadell. So he was a key component in convincing investors and shareholders that Sabadell would be better off alone, and he achieved that. So that was towards the end of last year. So in that sense, the timing's a slight surprise. He said that the timing couldn't be better. If you look back at the share price over the past 5 years or so since he joined in early 2021, shares have really soared under him. So he's saying it's a good time to, exit on a high, but potentially not really being taken well by investors. Shares fell about 6% this morning. They did also have earnings this morning, and those, met estimates. They announced a buyback, so relatively in line and positive, but shares falling mostly on that news of a change at the helm.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.